Welcome back to Ballaholics, the show for those who simply can't get enough of basketball. We got Z on the show. Z, great to have you as always.
What's going on?
Good to have you
Ballaholics in the
back.
house.
Ballaholics is back at Binghamton. We're still remotely, but we're still at Binghamton. So, school just started. We're going to see for you guys if we can get into the studio later on in the semester. But as of right now, the studio is closed to anyone going in because of COVID. And it's really too bad. But, we're making the most of it, Z. We're still getting these episodes done remotely. So I'm really excited to, continue producing episodes.
Let's do it, man.
Before we get started with actual basketball content in terms of the matchups, because we want to discuss the potential Heat and Bucks matchup in the second round, because the Miami Heat swept the Indiana Pacers, so we want to discuss that matchup for you guys and give you guys our predictions. We will also discuss the Rockets and OKC series and see if Russell Westbrook, who is supposed to come back in Game 5, can make a difference and help the Rockets beat the OKC Thunder. We just feel like, once again, we need to talk about what's going on right now in today's day. Obviously, the NBA boycotted on Thursday's games and Friday's games, I believe. The Milwaukee Bucks first boycotted the games, and they refused to take the court against the Orlando Magic, and that soon followed with all the other NBA teams as well, refusing to play that day. The NBA saying that all games were canceled that day, and then the MLB and MLS also canceled their games as well. Z, and as through Jacob Blake, and I can't believe that we have to do this again. Z, talk about the Jacob Blake incident, with the police. Z, I just want to get your quick reaction on that.
Yes. So we were talking about this earlier a few months back with George Floyd and everything. I feel like it's devastating what happened. You see the footage of Jacob Blake being shot 6 to 7 times in his back as he's trying to get into his car 7 times. And it's horrifying to watch that, to know that as a black man, you can be subject to these types of things. When you walk outside of your house, LeBron reiterated this. He said, you just don't know. When you wake up in the morning, you don't know how a cop feels. If they had an argument, earlier that morning, and then they could come out and take it out, on a civilian. So it's really hard. So it was shocking, devastating, horrifying to witness that video evidence. Thankfully, Jacob Blake isn't dead. He's in critical. I believe he was in critical condition at the hospital, but I'm not sure. But I'm just happy that he's alive to see another day. And we have to address these issues, and having these conversations is what's key to bringing awareness. And I'm very happy as well that the NBA is utilizing its platform to tackle these issues and to bring awareness to these issues. Players are standing out. Players are standing up. The NBA as a franchise is producing ads, giving players the right to use BLM titles on their jersey, and just doing a bunch of various things to bring awareness and spread this knowledge. Because this is important. So everything that happened with Jacob Blake, again, horrifying, devastating, and we've seen this before. So being able to move past this with more knowledge and more awareness, I'm hoping that everyone in society will be on the same page about this police brutality, and we can move forward. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people I've been seeing, some people, I think most people really get the incident, why people are talking about it. They understand why the NBA did what they did. And there's some people that still, to this day, they're still saying, Sam, and, it's really annoying because we just want to watch basketball. We don't want to, we don't want to mix politics with basketball and sports, because sports is supposed to unify everyone. But what I'm going to say to that is, I think me and Z agree. Like, it's annoying, Isn't it annoying, Z, that we still, right now, need to be talking about these issues? And isn't it annoying that NBA players can't play these games because we still have to be talking about these issues because they're still happening in today's day and age? So I do think it's annoying, that we still have to be doing this, and that we need to get reform. It just shows the urgency, that we all have as civilians, not just as basketball players in the NBA, but as civilians, as human beings. Because when you see what happened to Jacob Blake in Wisconsin, shot 7 times in front of his kids. Kids was 3 years old, 5 years old, and 9 years old. It was just disgusting. It was, and I'm happy he's still alive, but I know he's paralyzed, from the waist down. It's so upsetting. And I, just because I feel like, we have to get all perspective, I want to get all perspectives on it. So I tried looking at the other side. I tried seeing, what their points were. So earlier I did go on, USA Today. I went on fact check. That's what it's called. Look, they said that Jacob Blake had a previous domestic violence thing and that he had a warrant out for him. And apparently before the incident did happen, they did have a fight or something, or they did have a scuffle. And he was walking to his car. So I will say, from the police point of view, this is what they're saying, Z, from the police point of view, they don't know if he was trying to grab a weapon possibly. And I think later on they did find a knife in his car. But I'm going to say this, though. 7 times, Z. They got to shoot the man 7 times when there's 3 officers and there's 1 person. And you're not telling me, Z, that they could have tried tackling him. They could have tried tasering him. There was a plethora of other options that they could have done to this man. But no, they had to shoot him 7 times. So first off, they have to shoot him, which I think that is wrong in itself. They have to shoot him. But, Z, they're going to shoot him 7 times? What do the 3rd, 4th, 5th bullet, and 6th bullet, what do those do? Like, if you're going to do that, and you're going to shoot him in the back, like, if you're going to do that, like, shoot him in the feet or something. But I'm not even saying shoot him at all. You shouldn't even have to shoot him. But, like, don't shoot him, like, in the back, which you know it's going to go through the heart. Like, it's just disgusting. It's egregious. And I can't believe that we're still doing this, that we still be talking about racial injustice right now that's happening in our country. And, look, I'm not saying that those points weren't wrong. I'm not saying that police, maybe he was fighting the police and maybe he was trying to walk in the car and maybe he did have a knife in the car. But 7 times, I can't stand that, Z. It sickens me to a core. And the fact that people say that, we can't be, we shouldn't be talking about these issues. We should be going back to sports. Like, no, we have to show the urgency of these issues because I understand, sports is good and all, but the urgency is here. And I want to say one more thing about just actually, Z, I just want to say something about the NBA real quick and what they did. First off, I really commended the NBA for what they did before the NBA season restarted because there was speculation that, many players didn't even want to go back because of the NBA, because of these incidents, because of Black Lives Matter, because of these racial injustices, because of George Floyd. And then going back and posting this Black Lives Matter jerseys, the moment of silences with all the players in solidarity on their knees, beautiful sight to see. And that's all nice and all. But, Z, what the Milwaukee Bucks did on Thursday, that was an action, okay? Because I think that, if you want to respect someone else, in order for someone to be respectable, their beliefs, their thoughts, it must align with their actions they did. The Milwaukee Bucks didn't just say something. They didn't just think something. They took an action, a very courageous action. And I know George Hill isn't the best player on the Bucks, but I know George Hill was really, strongly, in the Bucks locker room saying we cannot go out there. And Kyle Korver saying we cannot go out there. And all the Bucks players say we cannot go out there. And once it all took is one team to do that, which it happened in Wisconsin, so I'm happy the Bucks did it. Then the Magic did it. Then the NBA did it. And then it went away from the NBA. I saw Kenny Smith on TNT did it. MLS did it. MLB did it. The Mets did it. And I thought that was amazing that everyone just did it unifiedly together. I thought that was truly amazing. It was a spectacular sight. And I just, commend the NBA for doing that.
Yeah, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Those acts were commendable, applaudable. And it feels empowering, I will say that, to see that these things are happening, which we couldn't say action like this has been taken years and years ago. But today, in this day and age, the fact that, we as a society are starting to uphold more progressive values, we can see sports leagues taking action, like you said, and not just speaking on it, but actually getting out there and doing the work. So I think it's super important and it's just empowering, frankly.
Exactly. And I do think that some people, again, they're going to say, well, what's the NBA going to do? I saw like some Instagram comments or like, on the Beach Report, the big comments that get, a lot of likes for some reason. They say, congratulations, NBA, you have now ended racism. But the NBA is they're not going to pass laws. That's not what they do. But they're going to do everything in their power because they have a platform to at least spread the awareness and, really provoke action to happen. And actually, they did do some actions. They did do actions. And I don't agree with people saying they didn't do actions. Actually, I have some lists right here. They did 3 things right now that were tangible. Well, not only did they not play, but the NBA and its players, I'm going to read off my phone. I have right here the 3 things that they did, what the NBA did. The NBA and its players have agreed to immediately establish a social justice coalition with representatives from players, coaches, and governors that will be focused on a broad range of issues, including increasing access to voting, promoting civic engagement, and advocating for meaningful police and criminal justice reform. That's one thing they did. The second thing they did, in every city where the league franchise owns and controls the arena property, team governors will continue to work with local election officials to convert the facility into a voting location for the 2020 general election to allow for a safe in-person voting option for communities vulnerable to COVID-19. If a deadline has passed, team governors will work with local elections officials to find another election-related use for the facility, including, but not limited to, voter registration and ballot receiving boards. So that's allowing people to go to the ballots and vote, because that's something that you should do. We are all citizens in this country. We're all human beings, and I think that we all, really need to, get these issues to change. And if we do that, by going to vote. Number three, the league will work with its players and our network partners to create and include advertising spots in each NBA playoff game dedicated to promoting greater civic engagement in national and local elections and raising awareness around voter access and opportunities. So those are three tangible actions that the NBA is taking. So I don't want to hear that the NBA doesn't take actions. I just don't want to hear it, Z. I can't stand it. Because those three things that they did tangibly, besides sitting out those games and really setting, an example for the rest of the sports, in leagues, whether that be MLS and MLB and the NBA. So really happy with what the NBA did, Z.
I think they're the most progressive sports league right now, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful, spectacular. Yeah.
100% agree. I 100% agree, Z. And yeah, I just wanted to throw this out there also because I had this written down because I did some research after. And actually, Jacob Blake's grandfather, he was Reverend Jacob Blake Sr. He organized marches post Martin Luther King, Jr. And then he fought for fair housing in Evanston, Illinois, because I think that's maybe where they were from beforehand. So like it's not just happening now. This incident, it's one incident. This has been happening for so long, Z. And it shows that even this guy's grandfather was in the fight for racial equality, Z. So it's an ongoing issue that we continue to fight, and we're hoping that we're able to resolve this issue. We're hoping that we're able to resolve this long-standing issue. And the fact that the NBA did what they did, it's not just something that we hope that happens later on. Like, we want it now. It's an urgent, criteria. It's an urgent thing that we need to solve now, Z.
Whose grandfather did you say?
It was Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake, actually. Jacob Blake was the one. So his grandfather, yeah, he was from Evanston, Illinois, and he fought for fair housing for African Americans. And his grandfather also organized marches post the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. So, yeah, I think it's interesting to see how, like, it's been an ongoing issue. Like, his grandfather has been fighting for racial equality, and now Jacob Blake, finds himself in an incident like this. So it's very upsetting, but hopefully we can move forward and really try and stop these issues. It might be impossible to stop, because there's bad cops. There's really bad cops out there. I think there's a lot of good cops. I have a friend's brother, great cop. Great people I know. They're really good people, and they're good cops. But the problem is there are still a good amount of cops that just aren't good, and that it's just disgusting. It's just disgusting, and they have to do a much better job, and that we must do a better job. The government must do a better job, quite frankly, of having more psychological background tests, to prevent these people from even being able to be an officer.
Agreed. Completely 100% agreed. And if that doesn't happen, then the police brutality will continue. Because we can march, we can do everything we want to spread awareness, but I think the change also has to happen with the police force. Literally just becoming more aware. And for example, I was in the Bronx a few weeks ago, and by where I live in my neighborhood, some folks organized the anti-police violence kind of festival. So there were games, there was like a cookout going on, and then there was a bunch of police who were there setting up things and just coordinating things and facilitating things with the people in the community. So it allowed for the police and the community to foster a relationship. I think having more trust in doing events like that and showing that the police are there for us, more or less opposed to us, is really gonna be like the key to changing things. So yeah.
Exactly. I love that. I know, like, back in my hometown, when the George Floyd incident happened, the police were marching right next to the protesters, in the wake of the George Floyd incident, because we were all in it together. The police are community police. We have our own in our town. It's the Glen Cove Police, and they marched lockstep with everyone because they understand that these incidents of racial inequality is just not okay. It's disturbing, and that really like you said, like all police they're really not all bad, but it's just a couple of them that it's just disgusting. A couple of them ruin it and just really tarnish the reputation for everyone. And we really need to do a better job at making sure that we have the right people in those jobs, because it's very those jobs, you need to have the right people in those jobs to prevent these kind of atrocities from happening.
Exactly.
I completely agree. All right, guys, I think we talked a good amount about Jacob Blake, and I hope you guys continue to if you see something, you see injustice, stand up and do something. If you have a platform like we do here to say something, to do something, and just continue to spread awareness, and not only spread awareness, not only have the beliefs, but to do actions, to show it in your actions, because that's how people aren't judged. People are judging their thoughts too, but I think the actions is really that's a result. So I think that you see it, but also act it out, do it, live it out the way you see it. So yeah, let's go on now. Let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks they're still playing Game 5. Actually, I apologize. They didn't advance yet, against the Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
That game's on soon. I think it actually might be on as we speak. So maybe when you guys are.
No, it's on right now. It's on right now.
So what, Z? Let's just assume the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Orlando Magic today in Game 5. Milwaukee Bucks will face the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference semifinals, Z. Who do you got in the series? I think I know who you got, but who do you got?
I got my guy Giannis, the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Yes, sir. You know what time it is. And most likely his second MVP will be announced soon. We'll see about that. That's another conversation. But I got the Milwaukee Bucks, man. We're too deep, man. We're too deep. The Heat, I got to give them kudos though. They're a very deep team. They have a lot of pieces, and they have Jimmy Butler, their core superstar. But the Bucks don't come to just mess around. They come to play hardball, and they come to win, and they bring that aggressive spirit every single night. Plus, they have the talent, which we can talk about for days. But obviously, I'm gonna just go with the Bucks because of our grit and our determination to bring it every night. We got a bunch of guys that like to get out there and run on defense. Obviously the reigning defensive player of the year. And I think it will be a very, very good series. I could see it going to 6 or 7. I could definitely see it going to 7. The Heat bring it. They bring the heat for real. But I think at the end of the day, the Bucks know that this season is their time to go after their championship. So I think they're going to get it done 6 or 7.
I said before this matchup actually is going to happen, before this matchup happened, I said that there were 2 teams in my book that had a legitimate chance to defeat the Milwaukee Bucks. One of those teams is now eliminated from the playoffs in the Philadelphia 76ers. And I never said that they were a really, top team, but matchup-wise, they had the personnel to be able to crash in on Giannis. But they're out of the playoffs now. The next team was the Miami Heat. Now, listen, I'm not going to say that the Miami Heat are going to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. If I have to make predictions, just off my heart, it's the Milwaukee Bucks. But when I did, before the shows, I like to do my, my SAM statistical research. And I'll tell you this, when I did my research this time, logically, it was telling me to choose the Miami Heat. Everything was saying, Sam, you better choose the Miami Heat, because there were 3-0 in the regular season, the Bucks, they're number 1 in defensive efficiency, but catch this, they're 14th out of 30 teams in perimeter defense, in 3-point defense. Now, Miami Heat are a top 2 team in 3-point shooting. So that stat right there is a little scary. When you have the sharpshooters in Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, and Duncan Robinson, Goran Dragic also can shoot the 3, and then you have your superstar in Jimmy Butler, who's battle-tested, playoff-tested. And I'm telling you, if Jimmy Butler was on that 76ers team this year, that would have been a series against the Boston Celtics, because Jimmy Butler, what he brings to a team, he is a hustler. He is a grinder, and he's going to get in your skin. He's going to dominate games. He's a go-to scorer, and he's a clutch scorer too. And then, of course, the Miami Heat have the rotational players. They do have personnel against the Milwaukee Bucks. They do have a Jay Crowder, Andre Iguodala. They have Jimmy Butler. So they have multiple players that they can throw onto Giannis Antetokounmpo. I will say this though. I just think the gap between Giannis Antetokounmpo and Jimmy Butler is just too large. Like the best player in the East is Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he's playing like an MVP level. Z. Jimmy Butler, he's the second best player in the East, but he's down here. He's an all-star, but he's not a superstar. Z. So I think that for me, just it tells me, it screams, like you should choose Miami Heat, but because of that, I just can't see the Bucks losing. I just think they're too good and they're too deep. They play super well together. And they have height too. They have height because Chris Middleton's super tall. I think like 6'7". Giannis, Brook Lopez, they're very lengthy. So exactly, and that's why I think the Raptors did so well because they had tall players in Kawhi and Pascal Siakam, in Marc Gasol. Miami don't have super tall players either, Z. So I'm gonna choose the Milwaukee Bucks, but I will say this, Z. If the Bucks lose in this game, if the Milwaukee Bucks lose this series to the Miami Heat, Giannis Antetokounmpo is leaving in 2021.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. We'll see. I mean, I guess I could give the whole narrative that he's loyal to his team, this, that, and the third. But, players have done that in the past. Kyrie with the Celtics, a bunch of other players, KD with the OKC Thunder and stuff, But I don't know. I feel like he wants to be there. I feel like he really likes Milwaukee. They gave him a chance. They gave this 18-year-old kid a chance back in 2013 when nobody else. He would have got passed up. He would probably went to the second round had Milwaukee not kept their eye out for him. Just because no one knew about him. He was on no one's radar. And Milwaukee kind of came in and saved the day by choosing Giannis. So I think he's going to choose Milwaukee. But we'll see. I'm definitely open to the possibility. I know it's something that can definitely happen. It would suck, but we're gonna. I think time will tell.
It's difficult, man. We don't know what's gonna happen with Giannis. I mean, the rumors that even the Warriors they got Andrew Wiggins, so they can package Andrew Wiggins and this number 1 pick right now in the upcoming draft to even trade for Giannis right now if they lose in this round. So I'm hoping not. I'm hoping Giannis stays there because I really like Giannis in Milwaukee. I think it's a fun team. They're always getting into those fun scuffles, those play fights before the game. I love that. The chemistry looks like it's there. So it would be a little weird to see Giannis want to leave, seeing how well they play together and the chemistry they have in that locker room. But if he does go, the Knicks.
Yeah, get him.
I haven't stopped dreaming. A man can dream.
How can you still be a Knicks fan? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Can we, let's do the next segment. Okay. Next segment now. Next segment. Okay. No, we're not doing this thing. We're not doing the Knicks. We're not doing it because
we were never doing the Knicks, Sam. We were never doing the Knicks.
I know, but now it's brought up. Now it's brought up. I didn't even mean to bring it up. I had the shirt on. And I was like, you know what? Like, it'd be cool if Giannis went there, but I don't even want to bring that up. Let's just get on. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about the next matchup, which we're gonna discuss the Rockets and the OKC Thunder. In game 4, the OKC Thunder defeated the Houston Rockets 117-114. I know the guards had a big game. Dennis Schroeder had a big game. He came through. I know that Chris Paul came through once again. He's been coming through all, in the playoffs basically every single game. And then who's the other guard? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander also. So their 3 guards doing super well. Z, you gotta make predictions right now. In this series, who do you got in how many games?
So they're 2-2, right?
Yep.
Right now? Yeah. So I really feel like the Thunder have a good chance of winning the series. I personally want to see the Thunder win this series. Just because they have a more full team and I like them more. I can see them winning. You feel me? Because they have way more height. Steven Adams is down low in the paint. Who's gonna guard him? PJ Tucker, good one. The Rockets. They've been in this position multiple times. They get to the playoffs. They don't get past the second or third round, and that was only once they made it to the Western Conference. But they're always in the first, second, or Western Conference Finals. And they never get past it. It's been like that for the past 5 to 6 years. It's kind of getting boring at this point. They should have done something to get themselves to the final by this point. You got James Harden, superstar level talent. What's going on, Rockets? So I mean, I want to see that young team in OKC with this playoff experience be able to get to the next level, be able to get to the next round. OKC, You know, they got their leader in Chris Paul, man. You got a bunch of young guys that like to run and get out there. And then you got Steven Adams, who's been dedicated and has been hustling since 2013. Man. I watched him get drafted. Come on, man. You can't tell me you want to see the Rockets win. Come on. What
See,
do they have?
you know what pissed me off? No, see, you said, we always see the Houston Rockets, make it in the second and third round, and they never make it. I get that. But, I want to see someone try and beat the Golden State Warriors, at full strength with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant. I want to see someone else. I want to see another team try and do that. LeBron couldn't do it when he tried. Michael Jordan maybe would be the only player I think that would have a chance. But besides that, I don't know if any other player can actually beat that Warriors team at full strength. Not even the Raptors last year. Z. I'm going to get to my pick right now.
That's true.
Imagine being a 21-year-old rookie who was signed in June after the NBA hiatus, and then you are tasked with having to lock down James Harden, who's a former MVP, and having success doing it. That's the story of Luke Dort. Luke Dort has been putting the work on James Harden in this series. That is my main takeaway right now thus far. James Harden, maybe he's choking a little bit, but he's not even doing too bad. His stats are good. His stats aren't too bad. He's putting up the points. His field goal percentage is maybe a little low, but it's not too bad. But when Luke Dort guards James Harden shoots in the series 8 for 34. 8 for 34. It's a 23% field goal percentage. 3-point percentage for James Harden, 6 for 25. That's a 24 3-point percentage. That's Luke Dort. Luke Dort has the combination of speed and just athleticism. He's you just can't get past him. He's crazy. Amazing footwork. He has quick hands. So when James Harden's trying to step back, his hands are all in his face. So I don't know if psychologically that's making it hard for James Harden to shoot threes, but it's doing something. It's the ball denial. It's the footwork. He has the combo of speed and strength. It's really Luke Dort's combination of speed and strength that's really helping him defend James Harden. And it's interesting because, I thought that OKC had a chance, earlier on, and they lost 2 games, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to rule them out yet. But lately, man, I think the Thunder do have a chance. I think ultimately Russell Westbrook comes back for the Rockets and is able to elevate them past the OKC Thunder in 7 games. But it's definitely going to be a series, and it's going to be interesting to see how James Harden responds to losing the past 2 games of the series.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to see what happens. Quick point I did want to bring up. This is unrelated to this, but Damian Lillard left the bubble, huh?
He did.
Was that in response to Jacob Blake, or did he get injured? I heard.
I think it was a little bit of both. I think that because of the Jacob Blake incident, along with his knee. I think he had a knee injury. He left the bubble. So yeah, I don't even know if he comes back. I'm not even sure if he's eligible to play. So, Blazers. I don't think the Blazers had a chance anyway with Lillard. But now that Lillard's not in the bubble, Lakers are gonna run them out of the gym.
Yeah.
Lakers will run them out of the gym.
People were saying that there was a possible chance for an upset in that series based on the way Portland's been playing. I don't know, and they took game 1 too, so they had something to prove.
I definitely think that if Lillard's in the bubble, it's still a series. I do think it's still a series. I think the Lakers ultimately come up on top and advance because LeBron James and AD is just too much to overcome for basically a lot of teams, even with Lillard, who looks like to be the best player in the bubble right now. He looks like one of the best players in the bubble right now. But I just don't think that the Blazers have what it takes right now to defeat a LeBron James who's starving. He's hungry to win this championship. He wants to do it as a tribute to Kobe Bryant. He has for his legacy. There's so many reasons for LeBron to win this year, so it's just hard for me to see LeBron get upset in the first round, especially considering the fact that LeBron is undefeated when playing in the first round.
Sure.
Exactly.
Man.
All right, Z, I think we covered all of the segments for today. I appreciate you guys tuning in, watching our first Ballaholics episode since we're both at Binghamton. Hopefully we will get into that studio soon. If you haven't already done it, follow us at Ballaholics_BTV6. We also have an interview coming up. I was able to get an interview with a player who plays in the independent league of baseball. It's not the minor league, but it's basically very similar to the minor league. So we're going to have him on in a couple of episodes, and he's going to discuss, how, discuss about the baseball career, how, baseball games are played and what's it like in the locker room and all the fun stuff there. So hope you guys tune in to that. And I appreciate you guys joining me and Z today on this episode. And have a good one. Z, you want to say something?
What's his name?
Will Musser's his name.
Will Muster.
Will Musser.
Gotcha. Sounds awesome. I'll tune in.
Sounds good, Z. And I hope all you guys tune in as well. All right, guys, we will see you later.
Peace out.
Peace out.